Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. It's me, Awesome, back for another episode of Drawing Fire Emblem Heroes. Okay, so before we start drawing, we've got to find out who we're summoning, so let's go ahead and do that. Oh no. Wait, that was just a joke. We got young Tiki. Now, let's get on to the drawing part. So, she's been in quite a few Fire Emblem games since the conception of Fire Emblem, so she was obviously in the first game, then I think she was in the third game, and then the next time we see her, I think, was the DS remakes, which we only got one of those in the West, the other one stayed in Japan. And then after that, of course, she was in Awakening as an older version of herself, which was really cool to see. And then she was in Tokyo Mirage Sessions for some reason, but she was like a Vocaloid version of herself. If you don't know what Vocaloid is, that was my obsession back in like the early 2010s. Like everything was Vocaloid for me. And so to see Tiki as a Vocaloid was kind of like a mind break for me. I would love to see her as a Vocaloid and see what they would do, but obviously they'd have to get the voice actor to consent to that, and then they'd have to record all the voice lines, and that would be some really cool Fire Emblem merchandise, so like making Tiki sing. But that's besides the point. Tokyo Mirage Sessions was a weird game anyway. I did like the concept of Tokyo Mirage Sessions, where it was like a cross between Fire Emblem and Shin Megami Tensei, but I feel it could have been done so much better. Like, you could have had the tactical gameplay of Fire Emblem combined with the moveset of Shin Megami Tensei, which if they did that, I reckon it would have gone over a lot better with both fans of the games, because as it is, it just kind of feels like a Persona game, but with Fire Emblem characters instead of personas based on demons and deities from all these different things, but oh well. And then obviously the next time we see Tiki, well, Tiki's been in a lot of things. Like, she's been in Smash Bros. too, like, as a supporting character. She's obviously in Fire Emblem Heroes, which is great. I feel like everyone has sort of seen Tiki in something, and she's like the mascot character of Fire Emblem. I mean, I even have an amiibo of Tiki because they made that when Echoes came out. Which, again, she was in Echoes as well as one of the summonable characters if you had the amiibo. Which, I know, it costs money, but it's kind of a cool concept if you got all the Fire Emblem amiibos. And it's kind of cool to see that they still use the amiibos in the game, but they don't have as much as an effect on the gameplay as they did in Echoes. Echoes was great, just let's steer away from having all these amiibos that are really hard to get nowadays. And I'm glad amiibos only unlock aesthetic sort of things now, like costumes, music, that kind of thing. It's nothing too big on the gameplay. Anyways, that leads us up to Engage, which is the newest game in the series, and Tiki is DLC in Engage. I haven't bought the DLC yet. I've heard that people have gone into the DLC chapters and they've been highly unprepared for how difficult it was, and I'm only 6 chapters into Engage at this point, and there have been a fair few times where I've nearly lost a unit, and thankfully they've landed a critical hit, which is amazing. I got 3 in a row once, which I was just sort of there dumbfounded, like, oh my god. Engage, I'm liking it so far. It feels like we're going back to how Fire Emblem used to be, with the very cheesy quick story and the quick supports, and yeah, it's going back to its roots, and I do like that. I did like 3 Houses, but it felt way too long and way too complex for a Fire Emblem game. I mean, I'd love to see more stuff with the 3 Houses cast, and I hope that they live on, but I'm just sort of glad to see Fire Emblem going back to how it used to be, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Let me know what you think of Tiki and Fire Emblem Engage in the comments below, and I'll get back to you next week. See ya!